Yes, children. So finally, we understood that after the February Revolution, what happened in Russia? Yes or no? So once this Lenin came back from the exile, what he has done in the country, and he started to demand for the the redistribution of the land to the people, transferring of the land to the peasants, and then the bank should be nationalized, and then the war should come to an end, and he became more popular by his demands and all those things. So finally what happened, this provisional government, the provincial government started to fear, it started to feel some insecurity because of the Bolsheviks. They started to become more powerful than the government. And what happened? Many people started to support the Bolshevik, that is Lenin. So finally, this is all happening in the city side, and even coming to the countryside, that is the rural areas also, the peasants and other socialist revolutionary, they started to seize the land from the nobility people. Okay, it's all about what happened after the February Revolution. They started to seize the land between July to September. After that, see here, it is about the October Revolution. So they had one more revolution in the month of October in the year of 1917. Why this revolution? What made to happen this revolution? See here. So finally what happened, we have seen that there was a huge conflict between the provisional government and even the Bolsheviks. So that started to grow more and more. So intense conflict between the provisional government and the Bolsheviks grew. So what happened, because of the insecurity in the mind of the provisional government and the Bolsheviks, they became more and more strong and more powerful. Of course, they had a huge conflict among themselves. And finally, what happened? The Lenin started to think a lot of things, because as we know, the Lenin is not a person that whatever he's thinking, he'll not leave as it is. If the people are supporting or people are not supporting, he'll never bother. He least bothered about those things, and whatever his demands, he used to fight for that. Same here also, whether the people are supporting, whether the people are not supporting, he was not bothering. But beginning, the people who were not supporting, later he started to get the support from the people, workers, socialist people, all those people. Okay, so finally what happened, Lenin started to getting fear for that. See, fearing the setting up of dictatorship by provisional government, Lenin thought of an uprising. So immediately, why he start with an uprising? Why he thought to have an uprising or revolution? Because he started to feel, because the this provisional government was under the control of, who were the part of that provisional government? Army people, industrialists, and the prosperous people. Yes or no, children? So he feared that there are some army people and there are the industrialists, and more prosperous people are only there in the provisional government. So that time what happened, of course those people will not understand what are the problems which are faced by the the poor people or the workers or the laborers. So that is a reason he started to feel that most probably this provisional government may start, or there he started fear for they may start with the dictatorship. What happens if the dictatorship starts? Of course there will be no freedom for the people, there is no liberty for the people just to express their views or ideas also. Yes or no? So with that fear, he started to thought to start start an uprising or the revolution in the month of October. So that is the reason he started with the secret plan of action was devised for seizing of the power. So he started to, he planned to seize the power from the provisional government. So is it very easy to seize the power from the the government, children? It is not so easy. So that is the reason what happened. He started with some secret plans. That means he started to take all the support, the support from all the people, from the army, from the workers, from the laborers, from the trade unions, from the trade unions, from the peasants, everywhere he started to gather the support. Okay, he started to gather the support, and finally what happened, he took all the support from all the people, and he informed them about the seizing of the power, and everything has been planned secretly. And the one more thing, he did not disclose the date of seizing the power. Okay, that is the reason it is called as a secret action. Okay, you guys are understanding, right? So he took the support from all the people, and finally, okay, he took the support of all the people. And the army leader to lead this, the army was the treasury. Okay, so finally what happened, they all planned to seize the power, and the date was not disclosed to anybody. So that is the reason they call it as a secret action. And later, the uprising began on 24th October 1917, with both sides trying to consolidate power. So both the sides, not only from the Bolshevik party, even from the provisional government. So what happened? They started to understand. So this provisional government started to understand, yes, of course, this man will not sit quiet. Yes or no, children? This Lenin will not sit quiet. So of course, he will be planning something in a secret way. So same way, even they started to, start uprising against the Bolshevik. And even the Bolsheviks also, what happened, they started to get the support from all the people, and they also planned well. And both on the date of October 24th, 1917, both the sides, they started with the uprising, and they were trying to consolidate the power. So later what happened? So the uprising began on 24th October. So this revolutionary activities began or started on the 24th October. So what they started to do, how they started to seize the power. So already sensing the trouble, Prime Minister Kerensky had left the city to summon troops. So finally what happened, children? So the Prime Minister of the provisional government, the Kerensky, he understood the difficulty or the trouble they are going to cause, this Bolshevik people. So that's the reason what happened. He had left the city. He just escaped from the city to summon troops. At dawn, military men loyal to the government seized the buildings of two Bolshevik newspapers. So, as we have seen what happened, the military people were also supporting for the Bolsheviks. Okay, and the few military people who were so obey to the government, so loyal to the government. So those the people, those military men who were loyal to the government seized the buildings of the two Bolshevik newspapers. Okay, but the pro-government, the troops were sent to take over telephone and telegraph offices and protect the Winter Palace. The the one more group, the pro-government troops were also sent to take over the telephone, to to cut all this communication activities. So they were sent to protect the Winter Palace, because the Duma was also set up in the Winter Palace only. Okay, and the pro-government, everything they used to have there in the Winter Palace. So to protect that Winter Palace, the pro-government, they sent some troops to protect the Winter Palace. Okay, but in a swift response, the Military Revolutionary Committee ordered its supporters to seize government offices and arrest ministers. So what happens, as I told you, people in the military, both the Bolshevik supporters were also there, and even the pro-government, the government supporters were also there. So what happens with the mixed response and with the swift response, the military revolutionary committee, the people who were supporting this Bolshevik party, this revolutionary committee, those people ordered its supporters. So the people who were supporting them, supporters, to seize the government offices and arrest the ministers. So they ordered to seize all the government offices and even the arrest the provisional government ministers also. So finally what happened? So the maximum the ministers are under the control of Bolshevik now. Okay. Late in the day, the ship Aurora shelled the Winter Palace. So finally, the ship Aurora shelled the Winter Palace. Other vessels sailed down the Neva and took over various military points. So finally, what happened? Now, the maximum, all the things are under the control of the Bolshevik party. Okay. See. By nightfall, the city was under the committee's control and the ministers has surrendered. So finally, by the nightfall, the maximum, all the committees, all the government offices, everything is under the control of the, whose control? Of course, the Bolshevik committee's control, and all the ministers were surrendered. All the ministers were arrested. Okay. So finally what happened at the end? Everywhere, by seeing all these things at the end, everywhere in the city, Moscow, Petrograd, there was a huge problems, the rallies were happening. They had a huge rallies also. They had, but finally, see, it ended with all the Russian Congress in Petrograd approving the Bolshevik action. So finally, there is no choice for them. Okay, so finally at the end of the day, all Russian Congress, guys, remember this is very much important, all Russian Congress in the Petrograd approving the Bolshevik action. So all people started to approve this Bolshevik action, and finally, as I told you people, the amidst heavy fighting in cities, the Bolshevik took hold of Moscow and Petrograd by December. So in the month of October, they had this, the seizing of the power, but finally everywhere this uprising, the revolutionary activities, the people were not under the control of, the single person. So finally, by the December, Bolshevik took over the control of the Moscow and even the Petrograd. Okay, hope you guys understood, no children? So finally we understood about the February Revolution, and then after the February Revolution what happened, and even the October Revolution. Okay, so after the February Revolution, as I told you people, Lenin came back and he started with the April thesis. Okay, so after that, he started to demand a few things from the provisional government, and he started to get the support from the people, and the provisional government started with the insecurity that, the conflict has been increased from the Bolsheviks and between the Bolsheviks and the provisional government. So after that, with the fear, the provisional government may start with the dictatorship. So with that fear, the secret action plan has been made by Lenin with the support of, with all his supporters, and finally they seized the power on the 24th October 1917. Okay, so after that what happened? By the end of the December, they got the control over Moscow and even the Petrograd also. Okay, hope you guys understood, right children? If any doubts, please let me know. I'm there to help you out, children. Okay, thank you all. Have a nice day.